Hey, this conversation, I sit down with Mr. Zoltan Banyai. Amazing guy who's, look, it's a great story of redemption. Checkered past, involved in bikie motorcycle clubs, and all the way now to his frontline activism and journalism, talking about what matters in this country and the future he wants to see for our children. It's a long conversation from, where he started to where he is now. I think you're going to really enjoy it. I'll see you at the end. Well, today, pleasure to be here with Mr. Zoltan Banyai. Mate, thanks for making the trip up to the Gold Coast. I'm going to start by a really quick question. You are the content creator behind As Real As It Gets. For those who don't know who you are yet, tell me why the name As Real As It Gets.
As Real As It Gets was, the start of it was when I went to the mushroom murder trials for the first time, and I wanted it to be raw and as real as it gets, not just edited and chopped up like the mainstream media. And that's where it took off and it really exploded. That's where it really exploded. And then the protests as well on the front line. You know what I mean? That's when it started, as real as it gets, yeah.
You're from Melbourne.
Yes.
We're going to get into the state of Melbourne. We're going to get into the state of Australia.
Yeah.
But the purpose for the viewers, I found you online as someone who's speaking the truth, standing up. You're a real male, standing up for the things that matter in this country. Yeah. And I want to tell your story. I want the people to get to know who you are. Yeah. So we're probably going to touch on some stuff that I'm guaranteed they won't know about you. We're going to unpack a few things. There's quite a lot to you that I've learnt just in a few passing conversations.
Yes.
We've connected online, first time meeting each other.
Yes.
Take me back to your childhood. Tell me where you were born, what your parents were like.
Okay, so I was born in Australia, but my parents came here after the revolution with Hungary in 56, when a lot of people came, when it was occupied by Russia, the former Soviet Union. So a lot of people after World War II, eventually we were occupied by Russia.
Yep.
So they knew what it was like to go through socialism and communism. I see you nodding and smiling. And my grandparents and my parents chose to come to the best country in the world and escape that just that tyranny. So the best country in the world, and they integrated and they absolutely loved it. They adored this place. They still do. Well, my granddad would probably be rolling in his grave now, to see where we're at. But he did say that we would go down this path. He did say it. As a young lad, I didn't realise what he was saying. He passed away when I was about 7 years old.
What made your grandfather back then, foresee what could happen to a country?
I reckon the old timers, they knew, and history always repeats itself.
Did your grandfather have faith at all? Or?
Yes, he did. Well, back then, they were under communist rule, so they had to, obviously there was...
Pretend not to be.
Yes. But once they came here, they took on a faith, maybe not the greatest one, because a lot of people don't know this. I was born into Jehovah's Witnesses. Right. I used to be embarrassed to say that.
Okay.
Because, as you know, being a Christian brother yourself, it is quite intense.
Yeah.
Quite intense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And being brought into that, it's sort of, it's quite surreal. It's quite surreal. They're very, Armageddon's coming and this, that, and other. So, yeah, if that makes sense, it's quite surreal.
Early childhood, 10-year-old Zoltan, what's he like? What's he like in school? Class clown, serious, nice guy, tough guy?
No, I was bullied and picked on, believe it or not. That's why probably I look like the way I do today. That's why I started training. I had learning difficulties, being diagnosed on the spectrum and ADHD. But when I put my mind to something, I can't be beat. I just obsessed with things.
Often the superpower of ADHD.
Exactly. That's what I say. And it's unfortunate that at our age, that's when we start to realise it's a superpower. And I'm dyslexic as well. I used to be embarrassed to say it, but I get mirror imaging. So, but in saying that, I've studied applied exercise science and human movement and I passed. So it just shows that if you really put your mind to something, you can achieve anything. And it's hard. It's not easy. But I told my lecturer who was going for his third PhD, I said, I told him, I said, spelling's a bit hard for me. I'll get a mirror image. He goes, no, we'll work around it. And I was one of the only guys who actually passed.
Bullying wise, what sort of bullying? Just the young stuff? How long to go on for? Or, I know it probably seems like a lifetime ago now, but I tell you what, it shapes so many people's lives. I see adults now who have been bullied and they've never dealt with it, and it still affects them now as a 50-year-old.
Yes.
So at what age did the kind of bullying start, and was it over the top, or it just kind of made you get into a certain way of thinking?
Having a name of Zoltan 40 years ago, I got bullied quite a fair bit. Yeah. I got having a name like that, and obviously having that learning difficulty. And I had to learn English in school because my parents couldn't speak English. They could barely speak it. So I had to learn, and I can actually speak Hungarian quite well. And I went and lived over there for a little while. It was amazing. But yeah, I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And then that's when the bullying got a bit bad. And then I said to my mum, because she used to go to the gym, I go, can you let me come and train with you? And then I started training by the age of 14.
Yeah.
And I just ate her out of house and home. Poor mum was trying to feed all the kids, and I would just be eating and eating and eating. And I just grew quite fast. By the age of 18, I started with security and stuff like that. So I begged my brother to help me get a job. I started working with him, and it was all pubs and clubs. And like I mentioned to you that, because you've got the military and background, I said I wanted to join full-time military. I had the paperwork ready to go, but my mum begged me not to go because the whole Desert Storm issue was going at that time. So yeah, I got into the private security sector, but unfortunately when you're in pubs and clubs and certain venues, certain individuals are frequenting there as well. And I was working in like tabletop venues and whatnot. So certain, you know what I mean? Certain individuals.
I'm starting to see how your life shaped.
Yeah.
We share a few similarities.
Yeah.
One in the bullying thing, right?
Okay.
A quick funny story before we move on to the late teenage years for you.
Yep.
I think most people go through bullying. I think most men experience it at some point.
Yeah.
I was bullied pretty severely in the earlier years, and I so badly wanted to be accepted. But at one time in primary school, the boys started a club, and it was called the We Hate Brody Club. And I so badly wanted to be accepted, I asked if I could join. I was like, I don't mind. I'm in. Can I come in? Right? That's how bad it was as a kid.
Kids can be pretty cruel, can't they?
They can.
They can be really cruel. They come up with just some horrendous stuff. But it wasn't as bad as some people's.
Yeah.
But it was just, I think it's generally, now as you get older, you realize that it's people's own insecurities.
It's all insecurities.
That's all it is. It's their own insecurities.
Jealousy, insecurity, pride.
That's it. They can see something within you, and they're not home. Their family life at home isn't that great.
Yeah.
And you don't know what the underlying issue of someone is.
Yeah.
And, there was one guy, I'll say it, Bradley Knight, he used to terrorize me. And then he used to do some, and it was not just me, it was a lot of other individuals. And then there was a guy, Sam, he used to look after us. Like he was about 18, 19 years old. We were just in primary school.
Yeah.
And then he turned it around and started doing it to Bradley. But then it was funny, years later when I was doing security, I was about 19, 20 years old, and I was already pushing 100 kilos. I was a big guy. I was already competing in the juniors by that time, and a light heavyweight.
As a bodybuilder,
yeah. But I always did boxing and kickboxing and martial arts as well. I always did that as well, you know what I mean, as my cardio. And then I bumped into him one day doing security, and I said, do you remember me? He goes, yeah, I do. I go, wouldn't be thinking about bullying me now, would you? And he goes, nah.
Yeah.
And it was quite good to see him. But I just rised above it, and I didn't, because he even said to me, he goes, oh, look, mum and dad were getting divorced. They were yelling and screaming all the time. My brother used to bully me and this and that because they just weren't happy.
Yeah.
And as you get older and you have your own kids and stuff like that, you get to see you know, it's people because they're not happy within themselves. They're not going, you know, things aren't happy at home.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing that.
People know you at the moment from your online presence of being. Look, it's not just political. It's because of what's going on in our world right now. Is corrupted. There's an agenda. Our nation's being eroded. The world is being eroded, and you're out there as real as it gets talking about it.
Yeah.
But you've got a really checkered past. And so you actually have a story of redemption, which is the main reason, you know, I've got you here to talk about, because I want people watching this knowing no matter where you come from or what you go through, you actually can achieve something significant. We're going to jump straight into it.
Yep.
I didn't know, but I have found out that you're an ex-member of a bikie club.
Yes, I was. Yes.
Let's jump into how you ended up being an Australian gangster.
I wouldn't say gangster, but I just look. There's a lot worse people out there than me, and I'm, you know, it's just
That's what a gangster would say.
there's always someone else. But look, obviously working in those sort of industries and all that, you get to know a lot of people.
So you're an 18, 19-year-old working the clubs in the Melbourne scene.
But it's sort of, and then I got into the private security sector, and then I got out, and then I started running other businesses and whatnot.
Okay.
But I got married, and I lived a married life for about 17 years, and everything was good. And then, unfortunately, we didn't work. It didn't work. We were still kids when we met, you know what I mean? And we have an amazing daughter together. But when the marriage fell apart, and then someone who was like my little brother, I always say he's like my little brother, yeah? He passed away. That really hit me hard.
How old are you at the time? Used to be mid-30s by my maths, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Mid to late 30s.
It would have been mid-30s, like late 30s.
Yeah.
Late 30s, to early 40s.
Yeah.
And he was just the best kid. You know what I mean? He ended up being one of my groomsmen. Mm-hmm. Like, his mother was passing away from terminal cancer.
Right.
He administered her morphine, bathed her. He just went through hell and back. And I took him under my wing. You know what I mean? It takes a certain person to have the strength within themselves as a 17-year-old kid to do that. So, and he was just, everyone loved him. He was a lover, not a fighter. And that, then the marriage falling apart, then my stepfather dying, who was more like my dad than my real dad.
Right.
Yeah, my real dad walked out. And my real dad only passed away not long ago.
Okay.
But I probably can't even put together a whole really duration of time that I spent with him that I don't remember from when as a young lad. That was just destruction, really bad violence, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was seeing him pass away, and then my uncle passed away prior to that.
Okay.
And I saw him when he expired on, you know.
This is your real father's brother?
No. So he was a stepfather.
Stepfather's brother.
He was a stepfather, but the uncle, my stepfather, looked up to him massively because he played like elite level soccer, and he goalied for Hungary.
Okay.
So he was like on a pedestal.
Okay.
And we were there when he took his last breaths and saw my auntie, you know, childhood
tough.
sweethearts. It was my first time I've ever really seen something like that. But then again, I lied because I'd seen someone actually unalived on in security as well. And that was during the old days. I had to go to a murder trial, and actually I got subpoenaed twice to give evidence in two accounts. So, yeah.
Take me back to when you're dealing with the trauma of the marriage breakdown.
Yes.
You're in your mid to late 30s.
Yes.
You lose your father-in-law. You lose an uncle. You also have lost your biological father not long ago.
Yes.
How does the bikie club scene start to engage in your life?
I was broken, man.
Okay.
I was broken. Like, the anxiety and depression at that time, and the drinking got bad. You know what I mean? The drinking got really bad. It got really bad. Then a friend of mine who owned a security company in the city, he goes, "Oh, do you want some work?" And I said, "Yes, I need some work." You know what I mean? And I ended up being the head door selector at Love Machine.
Okay.
In Melbourne. It's quite notorious.
Yeah.
It's very notorious for unalivings on the door. So I was the head door selector, and it's who's who in the zoo there. Like, you know what I mean? It's like very exclusive place. People are rocking up in Rolls Royces and Lambos and stuff like that. And a lot of people from Sydney who are hectic from Sydney, they come over there to party there, and then you're partying with them and this and that. And then a lot of the boys, that's because you're the head door selector. And on that door, on a big night, would have probably 9 guards who could go, like boxers, kickboxers, and hectic dudes, you know what I mean? Because it was full on.
For the people watching, what do you mean by the head selector? Explain that to a viewer. What's your role?
Okay, so you're basically, like, this is an exclusive nightclub. It's just like, it's sort of that Vegas style.
Yeah.
People are dressed up in that Vegas setting.
Yeah.
Big bottles of Belvedere. Like a booth is worth $6-7 a night, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a nightclub, you know what I mean? And you get your own. It's just very bougie, you know what I mean?
Showy.
It's very showy, and it's who's who in the zoo, a lot of the Underworld and this, and it's that party. All the best girls are going there, and the it's in Chapel Street. So
your role is you're kind of
you pick and choose who comes in.
You're making the call who's coming in.
You pick and choose who comes in.
Right.
You're the doorman. You pick and choose who comes in. You got normal, you got VIP.
Yeah.
Then you got the people who come to this, who get past VIP.
Right.
They're giving you $100 handshake plus something else in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very, very cliquey. Very cliquey. It's very one of the most stressful jobs I've ever done, because especially, like I say, it's been, twice.
How long do you work in that role?
Ooh, good question. I think I survived that door about 2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
And from there, connections made into the club
Knock
life?
on wood.
Yep.
You know, a lot of my friends didn't survive. Like, it was that, unalived. You know what I mean? It was all over the news. I can talk about it.
Roughly what year we talking? What?
It was before COVID.
Okay.
Before our superior overlord, Dan Andrews.
Right.
Melbourne was still all right then. Chapel Street was Chapel Street. Now you look at it and it's just.
So this is after
It's been destroyed.
2010, but this is around that time?
I believe so.
Okay. And so at what point do you start? I'm just trying to get to this.
The guys start coming there, and we start partying after that. When I knock off at about 3.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's when the partying starts. The real partying starts, and it's just some of the parties. Like I told you now, I've quit everything.
Yeah.
I don't even drink alcohol anymore, and it's the best decision I've ever made. Having that mental clarity, and it's just fancy bottles of poison. I can't. I never put it in my mouth again.
At that time, you're kind of closing in on 40.
Yes.
Which is a different story for how other people find the clubs, especially on the Gold Coast here. A lot of people find the club as 20-year-olds trying to make a name for themselves.
Yes.
You've done business. You've been the family man.
Yes.
You've kind of a little bit of a midlife crisis.
Exactly.
Tell me about your initial time with the club. Did you play a significant role? I don't know what you can talk about. Did you rise in the ranks as an older guy, or?
You know me, like, when we went and had breakfast and that, I can talk underwater. I'm a people person. It's like we've known each other all our lives. That's just me. I can talk to anybody, and that's how I am. I treat people how they treat me. Simple as that. So started going to Clubhouse, then one thing led to another. Then they offered me, this, and I was like, ugh. And I was pretty intoxicated, to say the least. And how do you turn it down? And it was like, it was.
Did you feel the weight of the decision at the time?
Yeah, it was a massive party. There was, certain people, a lot of people, and it was it was quite surreal. And what I was offered and all that sort of stuff. My cut was a form, like your vest. It was a guy who was doing, a long whack, 2 bricks, which is 2 10-year sentences. It was his, and it was crocodile covered with python with gold buckles, and that was mine. And it was quite surreal. And then within 6 months to 8 months, I was voted in as VP.
Vice president, for those who don't know.
Yeah, and then when your president's not there, you're
You're in charge.
Yeah.
I want to ask the question around the decision making. I'm in business. I've never been on the crime side of business, right? I'm in business, and you're in business. You've done multiple businesses over life.
Yes.
I know you're involved in some now too.
Yes.
You're a father.
Yes.
You've been a husband. You
Yes.
have a partner now. Decision making. The older you get, the further along in business you get too, the decisions you make, they seem to have more weight to them, and you kind of have to make them quicker, but you work into those moments. I want to know, when you were faced with, I know you're intoxicated, but when you were faced with the decision, did you realize the weight of because when you get into it, you did time.
Yes.
Well, you went on holidays, as they call it, right? You did or
holidays.
vacation.
Well, it's holidays for some people. It's
That's
not,
right.
It's not for everybody.
Did you realize at the time, did you feel that gut feeling of I'm agreeing to get involved in a criminal organization, or did you, talk me through that decision-making process?
When you eventually make that decision, and then Echo Task Force has got your phone all the time, and they call you when they're doing raids and all this sort of stuff, it's a different thing. And then the reality sets in big time. It really sets in, and your phone never stops.
Okay.
Never stops. It's quite surreal. It's like a whirlwind. Half of it, I'm just like, whoa, how did I? It's quite surreal, my friend. It's quite surreal.
Let's fast forward. You end up getting pinched. We don't have to go into the why or however. You find yourself in jail. Very real reality for crime. Very real reality for bikies. Funny that you ended up in jail. In jail, talk to me about what's going on in your mind.
Well, it was during COVID, the peak, when Melbourne was on full lockdown. Yeah.
Oh, so we're all in jail, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And when you're been doing a lot of substance, I went in there into the Supermax at the MAP, and it's who's who in the zoo, and we went into, imagine, it was, no one really knows what's going on and all that sort of stuff with COVID, because they were just saying it was the way they were reacting, it was a zombie apocalypse, and it was just PPE everywhere and all this, and we were locked in our cells for 2 weeks in quarantine. And
really?
We were let out every 2 to 3 days for 5 minutes.
What?
Which is against the Geneva Convention, by the way.
That's wild.
And in every yard, about 30 to 40 guys every week were trying to unalive themselves.
Yeah.
And then you got 8 yards. Yeah. So do the math. And then you got how many other prisons. So people would do some horrendous stuff to try and get out, because they were coming off, can we say ice? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ice and the hot and cold stuff. You know what I mean? People who ice or heroin. And some of them were doing it in, it's called dual fuel. They're doing in both. They're that far gone. I didn't even know that was possible, but supposedly it is. And they were doing stuff like, you'd hear them just at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, screaming in psychosis. And when you're in your cell, it's like, it's full on. You just, the noises and screaming you hear, and, you get to see what you're made of and your toughness, your mental toughness. And I got challenged to my absolute core. And I mentioned to you that I prayed for the first time in 30 years.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something, you get 3 Wheat Bix in a bag, the fruit bags.
Yeah.
The fruit bags that you get fruit, and 600 ml milk.
Okay.
They were using that bag to put it over their heads.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's how bad it got. Or plastic from a screen to break it, to use it on certain things.
Wow.
To get to the hospital, to get out of the cell. Because imagine it's like you're locked.
That's
Imagine
terrible.
your bathroom at home.
Well, I'm claustrophobic, so it would do my head in. Absolutely. I would be no good. Yeah.
You really had to dig deep. Wow. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care who it is. I spoke to my little girl And she was screaming, "Daddy, come home, Daddy, come home." And you're on the phone. And like, I still remember my ex-wife saying, "Dad has to be the toughest he's ever been in his life." And it's not just physical,
No,
mental.
it's mental.
It's mental. Because some people never return from that. They end up on the depot shot and a Vanza, Seroquel. And you see them like they're walking the yard later on and they don't even swing their hands anymore. It's like one that flew over the cuckoo's nest. To me, it's like diamonds are made under pressure and it made me come out a different person, man.
Tell me about the first prayer.
Whoa. I don't know if I remember it, but
Take a drink of water if you
it
like.
it was probably pretty full on. It would have been very full on. I hadn't prayed in 30 years and we're both Christian. And, you know, like I said to you, bro, that when I got out, I got baptized, you know what I mean? I got baptized and it changed my life. But then you get to see what really matters and what really, you know, what really makes you tick and who cares. When you got all the money in the world and you got all the toys, everyone wants to be your mate. But when you come out and you're doing it rockers, everyone falls off very quick. You know what I mean? But my first prayer, I can't even remember, man. I was not in a good place, and I can see Jesus over there. Like, wow, it's full on. It's full on.
He saw that.
Yeah.
You know, this is I don't know if the camera can see it, but this is a funny thing. It's almost comical. Like he saw that, but he, you know, in your darkest moment, right? He saw you, Zoltan.
Yeah, 100%.
It's
100%.
pretty incredible, isn't it? You can I get to talk to some pretty incredible people, and anyone who finds faith comes back to knowing that, you know what, doesn't matter who I am or what I did. There's something that connects me with going that, man, Jesus.
It saved my life.
Saw that.
It saved my life because I lost everything and I was hemorrhaging money. I would have lost a couple of mil. Yeah, I was doing all right, and if I didn't have that faith to believe there was a higher purpose for what I was doing, I'd have lost my sanity. You know what I mean? But I learned that materialistic things are not everything. I like shiny things. Who doesn't? Yeah, but it doesn't. I was so empty inside. I thought making all that money and having like I said to you, all the toys and all that sort of stuff was going to give me inner peace, but it didn't. But I knew I had to give everything to find the peace that I have now. And now I respect what I earn and I was throwing it around. I was throwing it around on stupid stuff. You know what I mean? I had more gold and diamonds on me than Liberace, man. I looked ridiculous. You know what I mean? One of my rings was 48 grams of gold. 48 grams, bro, with 5 diamonds in it. The other one's 3 carat of diamond. I'm not trying to. I was still miserable. I was still miserable, man. I was still miserable. Driving in my dream car. I still love that car, but I was still miserable. I was broken inside. But sometimes you need to be crushed into fine powder to be born again. You know what I mean? So I had to go through hell and back. Some people make it, some people don't. You know what I mean? And one of my good friends who was in there who's doing 18 years, I told you what happened to him with, you know, his unaliving attempt. And he's Catholic. And he said there is something else after this because he's seen it because he did almost, in the Alfred, almost, you know, he flatlined 3 times and he came back and he said he's seen. He goes, the stuff you see in the movies, he goes, it's not bullshit, sorry. It's like, and then when I was talking to him, because we were living together at that time, it's quite surreal. It's quite surreal. And yeah, it makes you question a lot of things.
How far this moment when you kind of had this moment with God and you pray for the first time, you're close to 40 at the time, towards the end of your time in locked up, right? How long after are you released? After that moment, how did that resolve you in prison? How did you spend the rest of your time in there?
My faith got stronger and stronger because a lot of people in there, that's massive because you got all the time in the world and you got to learn I trained like
every day.
every day. Oh, mate, I was training. I was doing 1 hour of cardio in the morning. I built it up to 2 hours. I was 20 kilos overweight because I was eating so much. I was miserable.
Yeah.
I was miserable. I was eating. I was overweight. I was putting on this brave face that I had everything together, but I was dying inside. You know what I mean? And I just that's how I was coping.
Yeah.
With all trying to pretend that everything's good. But I'm man enough to admit that, and that truth sets you free to be able to meet that.
Absolutely.
Because I spoke to the Australian Bureau of Statistics is saying, Australian Bureau of Statistics, the unalive rate with men in Australia is 75%. Why aren't we talking about that? I mean, there's so much we can talk about. We can do, it's just, and to be able to, say that and say, and to help people, when I got out, I studied Cert 3-4 community services because our superior overlord wanted everyone to be immunised. I said, nah, it's not happening. So I said to Wise Employment, buy me a laptop, and I studied.
Right.
And I got out and I was ready to take on the world and the mental health issues and substance abuse issues. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? It was worse. It was rampant. It was all right to go to Dan Murphy's and go to other places that we discussed over breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah,
But we couldn't
brothels were open, but churches were closed.
Yeah, it's
Incredible.
all right.
We'll just keep tracking the story.
Yes.
You're out of prison now.
Yes.
Are you out of the club?
Technically, no,
Okay.
because I was on NA,
Which
no
means
association,
no association for people.
which is a court order. So
Basically-
they put me on for 2 years.
right. So
2
it
years.
makes it hard to be in the club anyway.
Well, you can't.
You can't even
if
see
you
'em.
even say boo or whatever,
Right.
and the echo sees it,
Yeah.
you go straight back in and do your full whack.
So you kind of, that's a bit of a lifeline if you're, because you're thinking about not getting involved, right? Because now you've had this encounter with Christ, you kind of want to change your life. Not always easy to get out of certain organisations.
No,
so
definitely not.
there could be something divine about that alone. So eventually, though, you're out of the club.
Yeah.
How do you find yourself doing what you're doing now? Our country itself is in a radical decline.
Yeah.
There is, there's tons of agendas that have been coming against us, from woke ideologies to, individualism. Our politicians seem to be either incompetent, corrupted, or a mix of both. Honey-potted, a lot of them probably from early ages.
Yes.
Why is it that Zoltan comes out all of a sudden and says, you know what? For the rest of my life now, I'm going to basically activism, journalism, tell people what's going on. I want to see my country better. What's driving you?
The truth and just where we used to be as a nation. I think when we were a proud Christian nation, that's when we were united. That's when we were at our strength. You know what I mean? That's when we were at our best. When people actually cared about each other. Now it's just about me, and it's not. Does that make sense?
I told you about my time in Nashville, and I
Yes,
kind of said
yes.
you.
I would love to
and you
go.
kind of asked me what I like about it. I said, listen, there's something about. I mean, these are the southern states. Can't talk for New York and LA and stuff, right? But I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tennessee.
Yep.
The people are very kind.
Yes.
Very old fashioned.
Yes.
Everything is sir, ma'am, thank you,
Yes.
respect. And you said to me, but that's what it used to be like here.
Well, we used to be. Well, that's
Yeah.
why I moved even to Gippsland, where I live, because it's country. It's dairy farmers and stuff like that. And I just want to simplify my life. I go hunting.
Right.
I go fishing. I'm a deer hunter. I go fishing. I go spear fishing. My mates go to me, you go spearfish some places that you shouldn't probably do it.
Yeah.
Like the best crayfish and fish. You know what I mean? It's like, I go four-wheel driving. I still got my 80 series Land Cruiser. I've been offered so much money. It's like a proper, real one, proper rock truck. You know what I mean? I just love it there. Like when I feed the less fortunate, the rough sleepers and all that. In my little town, I love it. I adore it. I've got about 9 or 10 sponsors, and they all say yes every year.
Okay.
If I went into suburbia, they'll tell me, you know what. So,
Well, let's
does that make sense?
Talk a little bit about
Yeah.
this work you do with feeding
Yes.
the homeless and stuff,
Yep.
because most people wouldn't know that. It's also something that we can put in the link of the bio. If people want to get behind this stuff, they can help with.
Yep.
Talk about some of the community work you do.
Okay, so I did the obviously Cert 3-4 community services. Then I worked for the green collar program, reintegration with men and women out of incarceration.
So helping people come from prison cells,
Yes, I
coming
did the
back
course.
into
I did the course. Then they hired me
right.
for Wise Employment. I did that for about a year. It was quite surreal and confronting because most of the people with because I had around about every month about 17 female clients and about 35 to 38 men. And they are the real hard cases that Centrelink are going to cut them off.
Yeah.
This, that, and other. Some of my clients used to, or, they used to turn up with a Woodstock can in their house, the 12%ers, like full on. And because, I was an Australia 180, as they call it, and I'd been on holidays, they could reflect with me. And the sad thing is a lot of the people who have got these substance abuse issues, a lot of it stems, especially the women, from SA trauma.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of it stems from SA trauma. So, those substances are just like fueled from, SA trauma when they were young. If that makes sense. So my job was to sort of try and help them find work and be accountable, and they had to be accountable to me. Otherwise, they did get cut off from Centrelink. Our success rate was 33%. The government's was 3%. They audited us and they shut us down.
Why do you think that is?
Well, my theory is that
So for people who didn't catch that, Zoltan saying that the program that he was running with his guys had a success rate of 33%, helping these people find work or assimilate back into society. Yeah. The government-run program, success rate was 3%, but they audited your program and shut you down.
They shut us down. Government funding ran out.
Yeah, why?
Well, my reasoning for it, the prisons are a privatized entity and they're on the stock exchange.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, like sometimes we would see people walking around in there and they were suited up and they got clipboards. Yeah. And some of the screws, the prison officers, we say, the ones that we could talk to, or we say they're paddable, you know what I mean? Who are they? They're private investors. They want money. And if it's not a revolving door.
Sounds like I won't say because it won't last on YouTube. Sounds like another industry that's meant to help people but keeps people addicted to things. Sounds like a different industry.
Exactly. I hate to say it, man. It's just it's sad to think that people making money off other people's misery. And once you have a CRN number, to get a job with a police check is almost impossible. And that's why a lot of guys and girls end up back in the system.
What are the stats around that for reoffenders? Would you reckon?
I'm not going to lie to you.
It'd be pretty high, hey?
Yeah, it is.
It would be very high, right?
There was even times when I was cutting laps on the yard and then I would go, didn't you just leave last week? Didn't you just leave? And then they're back.
Wow.
And they go, I couldn't get work or this, and they got onto the cold stuff, run a mission. One of the guys, we're watching the news and we go, that's old, mate. And then he's back. You know what I mean? He just got out. And it was like, we were watching him doing, it was one of the situations when he was going through the casino and he was in the car and the police chase. We go, he was just here. And then he's back. And we go, what did you do? And he goes, you know what I mean? It's just, do some stupid stuff. But we would see people leave and we'll go, he's got more time in him. Right. He'll be back.
Right.
That's a lingo. Like they have their own language in there. He's got more time in him. He'll be back. So it's another world in there. It's but like I say, it's I personally believe the path I was on, if I didn't end up in there, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. It's just I was given another lease on life and I needed a real kick up the you-know-what. And, like I say, it's just believing in yourself and it's tenacity. It's really rising above adversity, but it's not easy. It's not easy. You know how many times I've got knocked back for work? Numerous times. I can sell ice to the Eskimo, but once they see, the past and they Google your name, and the Herald Sun did some nice articles on me. Like I remember when that thing happened with my shop, and then the chief crime editor, she rang me and she goes, "Oh, Mr. Banyai, I'd like to get your side of the story." I said, "How'd you get my number?" She goes, "I'm an investigative journalist, Mr. Banyai." I said, "Listen, don't ever call this number again." And she goes, "Okay." And then it said in the article, he declined to comment.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in the frame of mind to sort of talk. But
Now that you're on the other side of this life,
yes.
you're on the other side of that, or that phase of trauma turned crime, turned midlife crisis, if you will.
Yeah.
You're on the front line now. We're trying to see our country better, right? Which is honourable too, by the way. I think people are thankful that the reason your profiles are growing is because you are saying what people are thinking.
Yes.
Now you've got children. You mentioned you've got a daughter. You mentioned.
Yes.
What's your biggest fear right now with the country that she might be left with?
Oh, look, we were in the glory days of this country. Where we're headed, it's scary. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because, I mean, they made it so hard for me to find work. I thought, you know what? Life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Right.
I got a lot of trolls at the start and a lot of people, the haters and this and that. But I mean, look at me, look at this now. Look, I appreciate it. You flew me here to come and see you, and just believe in yourself, And if you're a guy, we spoke about this, people are coming up to me and other guys who you've, had on this podcast. Say it. If you believe it, say it. That's why you're a man. And, we're being just sort of, men are just like being pressure cooked into this, leftist woke, can't say this, you can't say that. Well, no, we can.
Yeah.
And I am, and I will, and I've exposed a few corrupt police and stuff like that and whatnot. And my videos went viral on that. And now they don't even really talk to me because it's in the too hard basket.
Yeah.
They just like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But look, it's not. I don't hate them. We need them. But if you're going to do things like that, they need to be accountable for their actions, just like us.
Give context for those who haven't seen that video on your TikTok.
Yeah.
You put a video out about some police.
Yeah.
Just
That's it.
Just
and
walk us
even
through that one.
I had to go to court over that one that hit 6.8 million. I won't say too much about it because it's still on an ABO. But, the 40-year-old guy with a 16-year-old First Nations girl. I told people about it and nothing was being done. So it's just not good enough. And I got reprimanded. How's that work? Remember Darren Hinch? Shame. So, but I mean, let's face it. Look at what's just happened with the Jeffrey Epstein files.
What do you think about the Jeffrey Epstein files?
Oh man, look at old mate Bill comes here for the Australian Open, gets caught on those emails, and then all this stuff, and then our amazing Prime Minister Albanese has the audacity to have a meeting with him and go to the tennis. How's that work?
Yeah.
How's that work? I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, how's that work?
Do you think there's such a divide right now between you, myself, the American public, the Australian public, and what seem to be the elites? Do you think that they are just they're well aware that we know now?
Of course.
They just don't care.
I used to talk about this stuff over 20 plus years ago and people looked at me like a lunatic.
Right.
Because we were saying about Alex and stuff like that from InfoWars. But how far down the rabbit hole do you get? But no, the masses have woken up and they've used these phones to dumb us down. But there's been other individuals who are so creative and so good at what they do that now they're just going, oh, hang on a minute, what do we do now? Oh, we'll do this hate speech laws.
Right.
But there's some people who just don't care.
What's your personal opinion on the hate speech laws?
Oh, mate, we knew, like I did a video on it, we knew what the Allen Labor government's agenda was. But the coalition, they were just, like I said, the snake in the grass.
Right.
The snake in the grass. And obviously, who I've sided with now It's quite obvious. And, you know, I am an official member with them.
Yeah.
So I can vote on things.
You can say that, by the way. Yeah.
One Nation, Pauline Hanson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The tide is changing massively, my friend. It's just changed so much. Like, you know, even when I was wearing my T-shirt, like on the plane, like people were going, yes. And even the stewardesses, which realistically they shouldn't say stuff about politics. She was going, I hope they win and she's great and all that. But you know what I mean? So
yeah. So for those watching at home, he's had a wardrobe change. I picked him up from the airport and he was wearing a bright orange One Nation shirt. I said, right, mate, we're going to have a little wardrobe change for the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, you said that even people on the airplane, people like.
I wanted to see the reaction.
Yeah,
I wanted to see.
Got some.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There was some sniggers. Yeah, there was some sniggers.
More in favour.
Oh yeah,
polling
massively.
Showing that.
Oh mate, look, you can't.
Yeah.
Orange is the new blue.
Yeah.
It literally is. Orange is the new blue. I've got friends of mine who I've said they're multi-millionaire property developers who have been liberal their whole life. You know, even their wives are pillars in the community and like they've said, nah, we are never voting again. They are so upset, so upset and very influential people. It's going to take them, I don't know when, to recover from this. I don't know if they're going to be able to recover.
Yeah.
Like I just said to you, like Melbourne, oh my God, the most livable city. It's embarrassing. Like I did a video on the grass and all that and they came and mowed it. Well, you couldn't even see the giveaway sign. So all the MPs started following me. Ooh, little like me. It's amazing the influence you can have.
Yeah.
But I've noticed some of them now are using some of my catchphrases. What's the saying when someone imitates you? It's a sign of flattery.
Yeah,
and they're starting to use my
imitation.
Catchphrases. So it's quite funny because I always say drop a comment. I'd like to see where this would go, and some of the liberals are saying that now.
Yeah.
Now the liberals are going out mowing the lawn. They probably pushed the mower for like 30 seconds just to get the video.
That's right.
Yeah. I've been out there for 3 years feeding the less fortunate and rough sleepers. You know what I mean? Volunteering. And then I was on the board of directors, working with youth. And that's why I even go and ask the people, the youth, what's your view on the machete bin? You see the young kids, they're going $13 million for 3 months. And then we got...
yes, they scrapped them.
Yeah, well, because you got to scrap them because you look like an imbecile for doing it to start off with.
Yeah.
They're going to go, oh, that's the machete bin. Oh, that's the machete bin. We got $100 each one in return in scrap metal.
Yeah.
So who made money out of that? I know who did. Visiboard. Who's a billionaire. He would have been laughing about it. It's just we can't. Even when you picked me up from the airport, I was saying your roads here are beautiful. There, it's just potholes and just the where the concrete is on the
the medium strip on the side of the road. Yeah,
it's all manicured.
Yeah.
My partner Jess gets sick and tired of me saying it. How it looks like worse than a third world country.
Yeah, in Melbourne.
And we're in fire season.
Yeah.
We're in fire season. I live in rural country, Gippsland, dairy grazing. I love it. They're just salt of the earth, Australians. I've been accepted with open arms because I worked in all the venues there. I just love the people there. They still get around in their cowboy hats, their four-wheel drives. They're just good people. You know what I mean? And when I was there, they've just accepted me. At the start, they were like, who's this buffhead?
Yeah.
Because I would have stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I worked at all the venues and I just treat them with dignity and respect. And I just love country people, man. That's why I live out there. I'll always stay out there. I'm back and forth from, my partner's house, because we got our clinic and practice.
I want to come back to middle of your story, young men watching this right now.
Yeah.
The great part of your story is the redemption, that you didn't stop where it was negative, and you've made a positive, which is amazing, through the power of Christ, which is great
100%.
too. Cost of living right now, which is a term that is happening most of the world,
Yes.
maybe not in some places, but everywhere really. it's driving people actually to a life of crime.
It is.
I want, if you just got 10, 30 seconds, maybe just to speak into young men right now watching, or even men who feel like there is no other way, you know, just give them a real taste of reality of what happens when you go down that road.
You don't want to end up in prison or unalived. You know what I mean? I'm very blessed that it didn't happen. It's not a nice place.
Yeah.
It's not a nice place, you know, to end up down that path. I mean, and even, you know, I remember when I first got out of quarantine and my mate who ran the yard, big, hectic dude, beard, tatted up everywhere. I've known him for a very long time. We walked into my 2 out because before I moved into a cottage with him, and there was a young 19-year-old kid in there, skinny like this. Two guys, 120 kilo plus beards and tatted up, walk in. He's just sitting there going, and he, you know, you don't want to be in that situation. Lucky that I'm a decent person, you know what I mean? Because he goes, oh, it's messy in here and that, and he goes, start cleaning, and the kid's running around, and eventually when he left, I said, kid, just relax.
Yeah.
All right. And he goes, do you want some shapes? I said, no, you keep your shapes. It's all right. Barbecue shapes. Like. Just little things like that. But you don't want, and he was lucky enough, I got him a job with us, but I spoke to his mum, and his mum was like in tears.
Right.
He was in there for pinching cars.
Okay.
And
so they actually do lock up some people who do that?
Yeah, eventually you do.
Eventually?
Man. Of course.
Oh, wow.
Well,
All right,
not as much these days.
You should see them up here. People are getting, like, stealing cars all the time. They never seem to lock them up.
I don't know. Obviously, you did it.
One in 20 maybe.
Oh, man. Like I said to you, the accountability, there's no accountability. And, you know, I was, like I said, you know, I wasn't scared of the cops that much. I was more scared of my Eastern Bloc grandma.
Right.
And my mum. They kept the wooden spoon factory in business. And then when I laughed to her after that, she would chase you with a cricket bat.
Yeah.
Oh, she was hectic, mate. She was hectic. They went through hell and back. They were just hectic, tough people. You know, it's just different times. But there's no accountability for action. Like even I mentioned to you in Moorabbin, there was those 200 kids that, you know, attacked the police. Even Vic Pol. The stats are last year, Vic Pol in you know, Victorian Police, 750 resigned. And then I know two of them who are going to be on my podcast, senior sergeants who got kicked out of the force for exposing corruption. So the system's broken. And the real scary part, people who didn't pass the psychiatric test are now being called and put
To
back.
fill the holes.
Yes. So you're giving someone who didn't pass the psychiatric test
A weapon.
a Glock and a weapon and all that sort of stuff. That's scary. That's scary. That's how broken it is. You know what I mean? I can see you thinking it's not good. It's not good. It's going to end up like Gotham City and Batman. It's already is. You watch the news. The home invasions are so aggressive.
Yeah.
Some of it's terrifying. But I hate to say it, they do, because I worked in the private security sector and I did my bodyguarding course. They'll pick on people who they are vulnerable.
Right.
If they saw you or me or whatever, they're not going to pick on certain people that they know they're going to try and pick on people they can get it over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They will sit off on you. They will.
Do you think Australians right now, or a majority of Australians, feel that we're just in a cycle and then things get good and things get bad and things work out? We're in the cycle. Or do you subscribe to the opinion that I have, which is we're in a position we've never been in before and we're going to a place we have never been before. But if you read history, this is what happens.
I totally agree with you because we have never really had tough times in Australia. We've only had, beautiful
a recession
success.
here and there, but nothing like what we're talking about.
No,
not the immigration crisis, not the culture crisis.
No.
How do you feel about immigration? Being Hungarian yourself, how do you feel about immigration?
We need it, but it needs to be regulated.
Yeah.
It has to be. If we're not sustaining ourselves,
Yeah,
and the amount of rentals and this. Of
course.
We got everyday Australians, even in Gippsland,
Yep.
in Narracam. They guesstimate there's around about 3,600 rough sleepers. In the campsites, those people are not camping. That's just in the country.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. I did a video underneath the Aldi of my area. And then it's a mezzanine car park. It's full of tents, mate.
People living.
Yes.
I started to see it about a year ago up in Brisbane. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I know. It's getting
It's
worse
not
and worse
something
and
you
worse.
expect to see in Australia. It's pretty
It's
wild.
getting worse and worse because the rental properties are so high, the demand. People were buying stuff from overseas. Supposedly that's been pulled up, supposedly, but that lifts. I spoke to a very good friend of mine. That lifts next year, supposedly.
So it's only like a temporary hold.
Yes.
You saw that Trump has basically executive order to stop people or to stop big
I love
entities
Trump.
buying homes, which I think is great too because
100%.
you've got BlackRock and Vanguard and all those guys just buying up homes, and it's just all they're doing is going to control all the homes and control the rental market and basically make everyone a renter. And I just think this is where government actually needs to step in. You should be protecting the opportunity for someone like our kids to one day buy a home. What do you reckon we could do something like that in Australia? Obviously, we need the same kind of thing. It's not just corporations buying homes, but for some reason, our housing market just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And some people say we're going to get a crash at some point. I feel like we have to.
Yes.
But at the same time, none of our governments are going to allow that happen. They will keep propping for as long as they can. So what's some of the things that you would like to see them do to control the housing market? Do you think much about this?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's just, it's that's exactly right. It can't sustain itself, and it's not sustaining itself. We discussed this even with my heritage home country. Born and bred here, love this. I adore it.
Yeah.
But they're doing zero immigration because they need to look after their own people, like as in Poland and Hungary.
Yeah,
Like
gangsters.
we discussed. They don't muck around there. Those people are hectic.
Yeah.
They don't muck around. They don't.
He doesn't.
You don't like it?
Especially
That's
Poland.
your problem.
That's right.
Yeah, that's your problem. We don't need your
Why do you think
engineers
we
and-
don't build inward here? We just coastline. You think about our country. Like I said, I was in America. America live across the entire country. There's areas, obviously, it's a bit more isolated, secluded,
Yes.
but we literally just live on the coastline. We can handle the harsh climate in the very center of our country. You get water and electricity out there and start creating communities and stuff. Why do you think we don't do it? Do you think it's by design, or do you think we just haven't had that person come along and say, hey, let's start building whole new cities out there?
That's a really good question.
Well, look what they
That's
did in
actually
Dubai.
really
Look what they
good.
did in Dubai. Super harsh climate, and look at it after 20 years.
Yeah, but
Look at Vegas.
Yeah, I know exactly. Look, but the Dubai, they're just different people. I've been to Dubai, so
Shows it can be done though.
100% it shows bigger
Right.
than we literally it's proven in Asia we are the Dubai of without
Australia is one of the richest resource countries in the world. We sell it all, and then we buy it back at inflated prices. We have the highest.
yeah, it's insane.
Do you think our politicians are that incompetent? I want to come back to this, right? Because this is common sense. You're laughing, right? But it's common sense.
If you
People
and
are-
I can figure it out on a podcast, how come they
Why?
not?
What is going on with
There's
them?
an agenda behind it.
What's
I'm
the
telling you.
agenda, Zoltan?
Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
History repeats itself.
Do you believe in one world government, one world
Oh
currency?
yeah, man.
Touch on it.
Where's the aluminium tinfoil hat?
That's all right. Well,
Make
everyone
America
else is
great
wearing them now. There's none left.
Well,
Because it's
not so
coming-
crazy now,
because-
are we?
That's right. What do you think?
Look, it is. There is a massive underlining issue to everything. It's just the corruption. Like I even said to you that, Jacinta Allen or they get a pay rise. We're hemorrhaging money. Don't you normally get a pay rise when you're doing well?
Yeah, except for politics.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But obviously
Yeah.
it does. But oh mate, I've got so much thoughts in my head at the moment. It's just like I'm trying not to let it.
Do you
explode.
believe? Well, let's just go back to. We'll start with one.
Tell me.
A lot of the talk around the hate speech laws, and I subscribe to. I believe too, is that we are going to end up on this social credit system. I don't see how we don't, right? So,
Yep.
Do you see that for Australia?
It's inevitable. That's why I never will sell my 80 series Land Cruiser and I'll just go out in the bush.
Right.
Or my partner, I was saying with her clinic, she's kicking absolute goals. Set Health.
Yeah.
Set Health. She's a diabetes specialist and she does blood pathology. Eventually what we want to do is build it up. And then I hate to say it, our dream is probably to move overseas.
Right.
And I hate to say, I love this country. I just hate where it's going. It's just, it's just.
Good people are leaving.
It's sad, man.
Yeah.
It's sad. A lot of good friends of mine, they're leaving Victoria and they, the guy who's very well-to-do and he's just saying they're going to maybe sell their dream home under.
At a discounted rate.
Yes, of millions.
Just to get out.
To get out because they're being squeezed of all their other investments through
additional taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is criminal.
It's just, we're being suffocated. I don't know how the average household is keeping afloat. And then I personally believe that everyone's so stressed, substance abuse goes up, family violence goes up,
Massive
and it's a flow-on effect. And then the kids are, like I said
Messed
to you, with
up.
the bullying and that, like those young lads that I interviewed in Dandenong, they were going to TAFE and they said they don't know people's struggles. It's just a flow-on effect. It's a flow-on effect. And, a lot of the youth that I speak to, they're saying that they're disheartened for their own futures. A lot of people are saying, I don't want to bring kids into this world. It's sad. We're in the best country in the world. I won't say the name, but one of the politicians said to me, we used to be. Well, are we going to be the generation that's going to allow it to slip through our fingers? Are we going to be the ones? And that's why I said to you, guys, a lot of my friends are saying, I'm proud of you, what you're doing. If you feel that way,
you do it.
Grow some, and say it yourself as well.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be always someone else on the front line? With a lot of us, who are doing that, who have the tenacity to say it. We need to stay together as otherwise then we can't be beat. And just don't be worried about what you're going to lose. It's only materialistic things. What are your kids going to lose? Your grandkids?
Yeah.
What future are you going to have?
Well, by then there'll be nothing.
As a man, you're going to be a man. You know what I mean? Be a man and say something. With all my past, I've got to tone it down the way I say it, but I was on the front line with everything.
Yeah.
I hate to say I'm not being rude, but I wasn't in a studio and all that sort of stuff and talking to a mic. I was right there with the riot police.
Yeah.
No bodyguards, no nothing. You know what I mean? I just pride myself on that. That's because that's how much I believe in it. You know what I mean? That's how much I believe in it. It has to be shown to the people. But that's why my videos have gone so viral.
Tell me a little bit now your affiliation or at least your support of One Nation now.
Yeah.
Tell me why you believe One Nation why do they get your vote?
Because everything Pauline's been saying is come true.
Yeah.
Even my mate Joe, he goes that the tenacity of that woman is next level. And she's right. 20, 30 years ago, she was ridiculed. Now everyone's going, please save us.
Yeah.
It is serious. Please save us. And, I was doing things with other parties and I won't embarrass them by saying it, but my eyes were opened up. I always did believe in what they were saying, but they've accepted me with open arms and I'm going to do what I can do with my platform to get out there as long as it's the real thing. And that's what I've always prided myself on, as real as it gets. And they are real as it gets. They're salt of the earth Australians, especially where I live. They're all dairy farmers and stuff. And I went to one of their meetings and I didn't realize the impact that my social was having. Like even, they were just, older guys and girls and they were asking to have photos with me and I went, what, with me? And I was like, and then my partner goes and one of my good mates, Paul, goes, people know you. And I was like, okay. Because sometimes I go shopping and then people are like, looking at you, and I'm like, but now they're actually coming up and saying something. And like even one of my videos that I did when I was just, at the latest Australia Day, that 63-year-old woman who came up to me, and she just came up to say hello, and then I interviewed her, and she spoke her mind about that. And to have a 63-year-old woman come up to you and say, I love what you're doing, and my kids love what you're doing, my husband does, and it's quite surreal. It's a humbling experience. I never ever thought that this would happen. I started doing the whole redemption thing and then feeding less fortune and all that, and I did a lot of other podcasts. But this one's, very different, and I appreciate it. I love you for that, man. I just to give me this opportunity to do this, and because it needs to be said. It needs to be said because the masses are saying it more than ever, and not just men, women.
Yeah,
like so many women are saying it. Where are the real men? They're saying it.
Yeah,
I hate to say, a lot of the girls today when I was working in the clubs, they were just like, the guys are not men anymore. They can't string a sentence together. We need to get that back. And guys, if you want a missus, you need to act like a man.
yeah,
You have to. Otherwise, you're going to get eaten alive. You know what I mean? And especially in this world, you have to. You need to get that tenacity back, that drive. I think they did a test on the PSI of a handshake of men and girls. The female's PSI on the handshake was stronger than a guy's. I rest my case, Your Honour. No further questions. How does that work? But then again, my partner's got over 30 world records in, but not us. That's why we call her Mighty Mouse. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but she's a beast, pound for pound.
I want to as we kind of we're going to have another conversation. I would say for sure. I want to kind of bring us to a
It'll
close.
be interesting.
It's a lot for everyone to take in at once too. But I like to ask this question towards the back end of a podcast.
Yep, tell me.
So I'm going to kind of ask you how you would like to have yourself remembered. But before I get there, I want to say, man, I think you've got in a short time I've been able to get to know you, I think you've got a really good heart. I think your past is just I think the Lord will use it.
Yeah,
the Lord
100%.
uses. He takes where we got things wrong and shows us how to use, and I think you're going to have a major impact. And I think you're just getting started. And I say that not lightly, but I think you're really going to have an impact in all the right ways. And so I'm encouraged by being around you.
Appreciate it, man.
It's been good to get to know you. And now the question is, how do you want to be remembered?
You know what? It's funny you should say that because I spoke to my mate Paul, and even it's about legacy now. And it's true. How do you want to be remembered? As we're getting older, what is it? And it's like my granddad was a warrior. He fought in World War II, and it's just he'll be proud. He'll be proud. But it's a different war now. It's a psychological war. It is, and then we get to see what we're really made of, and we have that tenacity to do it. And it's just, and even when I stuck up for what happened in Bondi. I mentioned to you that I fed the less fortunate and in the community in my area, and I didn't post it, the videos of doing that. And I said, because God and Jesus knows what I've done. I've done it for the right things. You know what I mean? And the next day I was asked to be a guest speaker on Parliament steps. So did I think in my wildest dreams this would be happening? No. Believe in yourself. F the naysayers. Like I always say, and just do it. If you've got that drive and that tenacity and just believe in yourself, and just who cares what other people think? I don't even read my comments. I'll be honest with you. I don't read my comments. How am I going to read comments on a video that hit 6.8 million views? I'm not going to do it. I don't entertain it. Sometimes I do on some of them when they're smaller, but it would drive you nuts. But eventually I will throw my hat in the mix of what I'm going to do. Eventually I definitely want to. And I know my past is always going to be an issue. But the thing is, like At least I'm not on the Epstein files.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
For our thing, that was the lowest. You're done and dusted, gone. I'm not going to the Australian Open with him.
Yeah.
Like Albanese. That's pathetic. After it's been on. You know what I mean? And they have the audacity to scrutinize us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on. That's an absolute no-go. So to me, it's just standing up for what's right. And there's quite a few of us now in Australia, and if you got it, do it.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself, and just if it's right and you got a calling, say it, because everyone else is thinking it. It's just some of us have got more tenacity to say it, and that's why it's exploding, because we're rising above it. We can't be dictated to, and this my heart breaks for Australia at the moment. Especially born and bred in Victoria, the state of it, it's a disaster. And everyone in Victoria will know that and see it. It's just, yeah. Anyway.
It's been a pleasure.
You too, my friend.
I believe we're going to do a round 2 of this, and I look forward to it.
Definitely.
Thanks for being.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Hey, if you appreciated that conversation, the best thing you can do right now to help this channel grow and to hear from more people like Zoltan and some of the other guests we've had on is subscribe. It takes you probably not even 1 second to press the subscribe button, but it does wonders for our algorithm and our show. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.